my topic is out of the box stories for incredible India, and I've been told some of my films fit into that criteria. What are the images that come to your head whenever you hear incredible India? Amir Khan? Okay. Basically, Satyamev Jayate and those kind of stuff. Okay. So, whenever you see, say, advertisements about Incredible India, most of them are mostly made by the government as to how much the progress the country is making, how well the country is doing, the development, etc. Usually there'll be that stock image of a Jodhpur palace, some colors, holy colors, and peacocks and elephants, and some farmer smiling at the camera, the cracked lines around the eyes and everything. So, but whenever we see these films as Indians, we know that we are a lot more than that. I mean, we're not just that stereotype of what the international community thinks of us as a third world country. You know, ki dekho gareeb hai, but still they're so happy. As part of my job, I do get to travel a lot and make a lot of films on these people. And these people are regular people. They are not people who say will get featured in a talent show or who have like incredible talent or who will break records in say Limca Book of World Records or something. These are regular people with very special stories. And I think it's these people and their stories that make India so incredible. So I would like to begin with one series, the first series that we ever shot. We thought of beginning with Varanasi, the very typical place to start Indian films from. So in Varanasi, usually whenever people do films about Varanasi, whenever you see photographs of Banaras, if I may use that term, you usually see what? Hippie culture, a sadhu, meditation, Ganga, the Aarti, and Hindu culture. So we decided to do it a little bit differently. So we decided to pick on one thing that pretty much not many people spoke about whenever you go to Varanasi. Now Varanasi is a very important site for Hindus because they say when you die, you will have to come to Banaras, even if you don't come in your lifetime. Why? Because for Hindus, if you get cremated and your ashes are immersed in the Ganges at Varanasi, it's said that you attain moksha. Because of this reason, the Manikarnika Ghat in Varanasi, which is the cremation ghat, gets millions and millions a year. So we thought of doing something on the business of death in Varanasi. So these were stories that we had of people and markets and professionals who make their living out of death. So there's a market, there's an entire market that you have in Banaras around the Manikarnika Ghat where you can get A to Z of everything for a dead body. Be it a coffin, be it sandalwood for the funeral pyre, be it that handi that has to be broken when the person dies, be it the death certificate, be it the death photographer for the last evidence if you have say a property papers and everything that need evidence for these things. So we thought of filming those things. One of the most popular films of that series became a film on the Dome Raja of Banaras. Now to tell you a little bit about the Dome Raja, the domes are a community in cremation ghats mostly. Now they are an untouchable community whose job is to cremate the dead body. And the leader of this community, the Dome community, has this one person called the Dome Raja. That is a title that is passed on from one particular family to the eldest son of that family. So the current Dome Raja of Banaras is whom he is the person that we went to shoot. Not very long ago, there was this saying that Banaras has two Rajas. One is Vibhuti Narayan, who's dead now. He used to live across the ghat. That was Vibhuti Narayan, who was the Raja of Banaras. And the other Raja was a Dome Raja who lived on Manikarnika Ghat. The Dome Raja's family basically descends from a legend called Kallu Dome. You may have read in Amar Chitra Kathas. He hired Raja Harishchandra for a day to clean up the cremation ghats. So Kallu Dome was given this boon by God Shiva, that whoever gets cremated by the hands of the domes will get to go to heaven. Even though this caste is untouchable while they live, when you are dead, you have to be cremated by them to reach heaven, is what the Hindus think. Now, not many years ago, some 50 years ago, the Dome Raja's family was the second wealthiest family in Varanasi after Vibhuti Narayan. That's because pretty much 50 to 100 years ago, Hindu rituals were, like, say, 100 times more important than they are today. So if somebody was to get cremated, there would be gifts of gold given to the Dome Raja and the other domes who worked under him. So that led to this one palatial sized house that is featured in the film, where the Dome Raja now lives. But over the years, there's been so much gambling and alcoholism and substance abuse in the Dome community that they don't live in poverty, but it is as close to poverty as you can get. So now this is the last heir of the Dome Raja family. He's the last son, and he's the current Dome Raja. And there used to be a time where the domes weren't allowed, the dome people weren't allowed to enter temples. Even if they needed to ask, say, for a glass of water, they wouldn't be handed over a glass of water. The water would be directly poured into their mouths because nobody wanted to touch that glass afterwards. So when we decided to film them, we didn't know exactly how it is still in Banaras, if people still behave like that. So when we went to shoot with him, we asked him, so abhi bhi kya aisa hota hai? Are you still considered untouchable like that? He's like, no, it's not that bad. People do come to our house, they do eat food from our hands and everything. But yes, there are some people who still cling to that thought. So when we asked him, so आपको बुरा नहीं लगता? He had a very interesting thought. He said, ठीक है, जीते जीते जितना भी अछूत अछूत कर ले, मरने के बाद तो हमारे पास आना है. So that is the spirit of Dome Raja, who is the untouchable gatekeeper of heaven for Hindus. But in his lifetime, he can't even walk in front of you because he's considered to be bad luck. Another professions that were related to death that we filmed. Of course, I cannot tell you about every film. It's better that you watch it, but I'll just tell you within a few lines as to what the films are about. These are pretty much the stories that we get to see when we go out there. So there is a hotel called Mukti Bhavan. You may have heard about it. A couple of years ago, there was a feature film made on it. It won a lot of awards. So we went to the real Mukti Bhavan. It's a hotel for dead. So if a lot of people come to Varanasi to die, that is one of the tourist attractions, or if you can call it that. So when you come to Banaras to die, you of course need a place, and it's a dharamshala where you don't have to pay any money. The food is for free. The stay is for free. Boarding and lodging is free. There are a few rooms where your family can stay, and you can die in peace. And it's a place that's been donated by this family, the Dalmia family, and it's a very, very noble cause for them, because they know that a lot of people who are in pain, who are at the last stage of their lives, who need a peaceful, dignified, respectable death, and they try to give it to them. And the caretaker of this hotel, so-called hotel, is somebody who's been there since the past 43 years. And he claims that he can by now tell who's going to attain moksha in his hotel, who dies and who can't. Because it's something that experience has taught him. In fact, there are sometimes people don't die, and they disappointedly they are disappointed and they have to go back. But because there's a huge wait list for this place, so there are people just waiting in line just to die in Banaras. So that is one story. Then after we scratched the surface of the business of death in Banaras, there was one very surprise story that literally came our way, which had nothing to do with the business of death. But what it exposed was that because Varanasi is a hub for a lot of religious tourism and a lot of international tourists, it provides a very good cover for human trafficking and child prostitution. So there's a huge racket of child prostitution that is being fought with every day by this one couple, Ajit and Manju. Slide please. You might recognize them. They were recently in in an episode of Kaun Banega Crorepati. They run an organization called Gudiya that fights against child prostitution in Varanasi. Now, what these people do is that their job is not at the surface, like most NGOs do. These people have gone ahead and they have really gone into the cracks of society. Ajit has actually disguised himself as a pimp and he has gone into brothels. He's lived there for a year so that he could collect evidence and give it to the police so that the perpetrators could be caught. Their job isn't easy. They have a daughter. They get death threats every day. The enemies that they have made are very powerful, and something about them just shows you that whatever happens, these people will not back off from the jobs that they're doing. There's a clip that I'd like to show you.
मुझे एक दिन में कैन यू बिलीव 7 बजे से रात के 12 बजे तक 86 फ़ोन कॉल्स आए थे। वो भी मार देंगे, रेप कर देंगे, परिवार को ख़त्म कर देंगे, चीज़ें कर देंगे। मैं सवेरे 7 बजे से सुन रही थी उसकी चीज़ें। रात को ठीक 12 बजे फिर उस बंदे का फ़ोन आ रहा है और मुझे धमकी दे रहा है और पता नहीं मुझे क्या, तो मुझे इतने तेज़ गुस्सा आया। मैं इतना गुस्सा ही, मैंने कहा ऐसा सुन, मैं घर में अकेली हूँ, मेरे सास ससुर भी नहीं है, मेरे हस्बैंड भी नहीं है, मैं दरवाजे का छिटकी नहीं खोल रही हूँ। तेरी अगर तू इतना ही बहादुर है, इतने अधिक झंडे गड़ा तू आ और आकर के तू जो कर सकता है मेरे साथ कर। मैंने दरवाजा खोल दिया, पागलपन था, लेकिन उसके बाद उसका फोन आना बंद।
This is the kind of jazba that these people have, and of course, without a wife like Manju, I don't think anybody can even go out there in the brothels and do the kind of dangerous work that these people do. And the thing is that they are fearless, and it's not that they are fearless because they have nothing in the world to care about. They have a very young daughter. Maybe you got a glimpse of her, Barish Prishti. She is taken in and out of school irregularly because there are threats to kidnap her daughter and rape their daughter, and just throw her in the Ganges. And these people, they don't stop even because of that. Now, the thing is that when a little behind the scenes story about how we came across this film was that we were just going to shoot this couple because we heard, and there was an article that said that they have a school on a boat on the ghats where they teach these beggar children of the ghats who go to tourists and they beg for money. So that's how the story actually came about. Why I'm telling you this is because that these stories of incredible India are to be dug out, and that's all that we knew about them. And just by chance, when we went to shoot them, there were these people over there, these village people of all ages. A lady who was really old and bent, walking with a stick, from really young kids, and all of them were from a really interior village. You could just tell by the clothes that they were wearing, the kind of faces that they had, hands and feet. All of them had their feet in chains, and they were all bare feet. So when we asked them as to who are these people, I mean, we thought that you just educate children on the boat. They said, no, actually we do rescue people, victims of human trafficking, and this was an entire village sold as bonded labor to a sheikh in Saudi Arabia. So they were just staying there. Their house is literally a shelter for lost souls, be it a rape victim, be it a widow being tortured, be it bonded laborer, be it people just sold off to the human flesh market. Theirs is the house, even though they don't have money, they get these big bowls, they cook their food, they give shelter to these people. And that is one story that we thought we just had to tell from Varanasi. And recently, we've been told that Gudia has received a lot of money from media enterprises, a lot from Kaun Banega Crorepati. So, coming from Varanasi to Kolkata, we did a series of films on Kolkata. So, this series actually is really personal to me because when we were given, when we were ideating as to what kind of films should we make in Calcutta, you're from Calcutta, I thought that as a Punjabi Calcuttan, every time I've introduced myself out of the city, the very first question that comes after I explain that I'm Punjabi from Calcutta, like, oh, Punjabi from Calcutta? There are Punjabis in Calcutta? Isn't that a Bengali place? So you have to explain every time, no, it's not like that. There are many communities in Calcutta. So then I thought that let me take this out of Calcutta and bring it to the rest of the country. So we decided to do films on all of these communities that Calcutta has that people probably don't know about. Who are these communities? These are the Chinese who live in Calcutta, the Anglo-Indians, the Jews, the Kabuliwalas, the Armenians, although we didn't make a film on them. When we shot the Jews of Kolkata story, I will not get into details about what all the Jews have done and how long they've been here. That's almost like a history lesson. But I'll tell you the highlight of the story that we finally took home with us, which was that Mrs. Fla Silliman, she is a Jew in Calcutta. There are only 19 of them left pretty much now. There used to be some 600 of them a few years back. So she said something like that the Jews have been persecuted in every corner of this world in history and even right now, from Europe to Germany, America, Middle East, everywhere Jews have been persecuted. India is the only country that can hold its head high and say that no, it has never faced any hatred against Jews, no anti-Semitism of any kind in the 200 years that they've been living here, in Calcutta and in Kerala. So that was the lesson that we took from the Jews of Kolkata.